Yes, no, maybe.
No.
Maybe?
Not yet.
I got a call.
Okay, now we're good.
Okay.
All right. I'd like to call to order the regularly scheduled Board of Trustee meetings for Sylvania Township, August 19th at 6 p.m.
Roll Simcoe here. Gentlemen.
Here.
Mr. Gentlemen. Mr. Mahoney.
Here.
Mr. Crandall.
Here.
Way to change it up.
Get everybody.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
See if we're awake, huh?
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of the August 5th meeting minutes. So moved.
Second?
Mr. Crandall.
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney.
Yes.
Mr. Genowine.
I'm going to abstain.
Okay.
I was not here. Do we have any additions or deletions to the agenda this evening?
I have none.
Anybody sign in to be heard?
Nobody signed in.
All right. And that puts Darrell up.
Good evening. The monthly report for July for the zoning department. Permits were, well, we were up by one permit as far as the number of permits, but the dollar value was up significantly at just under 27 million in dollar value. On the single-family dwelling permits, it did slack off a little bit, but we're still ahead on the year at 59. That represents an 11% increase from last year and a 10% increase on dollar value on single-family dwellings. On zoning complaints, we had 17 for the month, down from last year, but right even with 2 years ago, so I don't know what to make of that. But in the year-to-date, we're at 105, just a little bit less than the last 2 years. Monthly meetings, the BZA heard 4 variances for the proposed Taylor Hyundai. 3 of them were approved and 1 was approved with conditions. The one that was denied, really that was just a formality. They wanted to withdraw that one at the last minute, but it's already on the agenda, so the BZA had to vote on it, so they denied it just as a formality. The zoning commission meeting did not meet. In project plan review, we had the Mercy Health, which at the time of project plan review, we didn't know that it was Mercy Health. It was the strangest PPR I've ever had of actually reviewing something and not knowing what it was going to be, just looking at the building and the footprint and setbacks and whatnot. As far as items of note, you can read those over at your convenience, but again, Mercy Health System coming in, I'm sure everybody's aware of that by now. We're looking forward to that. And the Colony Apartments on McCord Road are, right there. If you've been by there, you've seen they're coming along really, really well. And I spoke to Mike Hodgenacki a couple weeks ago, the owner of the property, and he's already got deposits down on 9 of the 34 units. And they're not even going to open up in the first ones until September. So looks like they're off to a good start. The other items I have are just the second phase of the shops at Franklin Place. That's in front of Target next to the soon-to-be-open TJ Maxx. And the last item I have is ground penetrating radar systems. They're moving their headquarters from Central Avenue on to New West. They're building a new facility. That's all I have.
I think this lack of rain has helped on the nuisance abatement projects.
The grass isn't growing as quickly, yeah.
Yeah.
That and the cold evenings.
Yeah. Thanks, Darrell.
Thanks, sir. Speaking of lack of rain, look out the window.
Yeah.
It's just pouring. Next on the agenda is the Public Works Department, and Greg doesn't have a report, but I want to bring to the board's attention is that we are getting bids on salt for this winter, and all political entities around there, and the price of salt, the bids are coming in at least three times higher than last year. Everybody's scrambling, not knowing what to do. Greg's working on maybe different sources, rebidding it through the state, maybe going on our own with other entities out here, but it's something I just wanted to brief the board on, that the salt bid that came in was 3 times the amount from last year, so, you know, either we're going to have to, well, everybody will have to manage their salt very closely and, you know, use it very prudently. And
Do we ever use sand as a substitute for salt on any of our roads or anything like that?
We're too urbanized to plug up the storm sewers with sand. Your rural areas still, they're even shying away from that with the EPA constraints.
I know, having just come from out east, they still do it a lot out there because of the watershed areas and things, and just curious if we used a blend of it or anything with the rising salt prices, but that makes sense if they clog our storm sewers up.
Even we have, on our non-curb roadways, we still have storm sewers.
Yeah.
You know, probably Holt Road, Wolfinger, would be Allen Road. That'd be about the only areas, you know, that county type roadways.
Thank you.
thanks, Greg. Next up is the fire department with their monthly report.
Good evening.
Good evening.
You have in front of you the July monthly report. I'll try to be real brief with the storms moving in. Just the first 2 pages are just an example of the number of runs that we've ran during that month. We're still running a little bit over what we had last year. Page 4 is our mutual aid incidents. I know you're always interested in this. This is one of the months where we've actually lost a little bit. We received mutual aid twice from Springfield and from Toledo, and we gave mutual aid to Springfield 4 times. So I think we're still ahead of it for the year, but this is the one we went to their jurisdiction a little bit more. Community risk reduction on page 5. We did do a return to the scene in July. We had 3 working fires in July, but we were only able to get out to the return to the scene to 1 neighborhood. We'll pick up those other 2 neighborhoods as we go on. And then also in July was a very busy month for us for 4th of July, where crews went to the Sylvania Country Club and provided the supervision for the fireworks there, and then also for the big fireworks, the Sylvania Community Fireworks at Fossil Park. And I'd like to say we had no incidents at either one of those events, so that was great. On the building project and plan reviews, again, Deputy Chief Frederick was quite busy with 16 reviews, 4 license inspections of preschools and daycare centers, and he had 2 consultations for future construction plans and 9 final acceptance tests for upgrade to the fire systems. Crews also were out and did 255 safety inspections. The next page is just the training. We did this month of July is our VFIS training for all personnel. We put them through an 8-hour driver's training class, and then we do a competency course that everyone has to show proficiencies at with an engine, and then also they did some over-the-road training. So the propensity, you'll see the units on the road a little bit more this last month, and that was the reason is to get that training in. They have to have so many hours over the road with an instructor. So we completed that, and that helps a little bit on our insurance rates. And then the last page was a letter from an investigator, that went ahead and investigated a fire that we had. He just had a couple comments in his letter that the overall operation, we were very organized, and the fact that we didn't tear everything up, we kept a lot of the debris in place so he can investigate the origin of the fire, and then also he complimented us on our written report that in the pictures that we took for our investigation phase. And that's all I have for that, unless you have any questions.
I would like to comment on you guys' work over the water crisis. I picked a good time to be on vacation, and certainly it was front page news, 800 miles away, and it was kind of an embarrassment as people were harassing me, but coming back to our community, you really hear firsthand accounts of kind of the panic that was in a lot of the residents around here, and, you know, what you guys stepped up and did, and Deputy Chief Ram, all your efforts, I mean, it didn't go unnoticed, and thank you guys. You really helped the community out a great deal.
We appreciate that. Thank you very much, Mr. General. I have one more item, if I may. I just received this today. I have a letter of retirement from one of our employees. His intent is to retire on September 6th of 2014. He's been with us for 19 years. He has some time on another department. So, Greg Burkhart.
Do you have any plans, or is set riding off into the sunset, or?
I think he has some other plans. I think he's too young to retire. He's not as old as I am, I guess.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief. Next up is Chief Homey.
Evening. Evening.
You have in front of you the monthly report for the police department. Page 2, you'll see the total calls for service are 6,637. You can see the CAD calls and such. Page 3, our calls for service at the top of the page are actually down. You can see our crime stats, our calls on other offense reports. I won't go over all of those. Some are up, some are down at this point. Page 4, you'll see the total cases assigned. I will note that I had a staff meeting this morning. Our Detective Bureau is extremely busy right now, not only with a lot of property crime, but we're very proactively working that case, what we consider the homicide case with the 17-year-old that overdosed on heroin. And it's moving right along. I have no doubt that, I don't want to divulge much in a public meeting here, but I think that we'll come to a very positive resolution with that. Page 5, you can see what our officers doing in the DEA Drug Task Force. There's not a whole lot going on right now with that particular task force. They're working on some very big cases, as the narrative explains. Page 6, there's really nothing of great note there. I'll let you read that at your leisure. Page 7, the K-9 report. You might notice the last couple sentences in the first paragraph and the entire second paragraph. Once again, it speaks to the heroin problem out here in the township. It's not just in Toledo or such. Westridge Apartments, if you know where that is, off of Elmer Road, a lot of that is Section 8. We have a real bad problem in there. And then we have some problems up along Alexis Road too. But with Westridge Apartments, it's the heroin, it's the domestics, it's the assaults, it's everything, unfortunately, you get with, I want to be politically correct, but it's a problem down there. Page 8, just some of the, it wasn't a big money-making month, but some of our asset forfeitures and such. And then I don't have a report on it here, but something I haven't given you before is just with the July 3rd fireworks, I will say that it went better than ever. We had traffic cleared out of there probably by about 11:30, which is at least a half an hour before that we normally do. No major incidents, everything went well. And the one thing I haven't given you before that you might be interested in is just to let you know, we incurred 66 hours of overtime. The majority of that was paid out in comp, at least 2/3 of it. Sylvania Rec actually pays for 6 officers too at the overtime rate for that particular project. That's the only one we do at the overtime rate, so that everything is equal for the officers. And they paid out for 36 hours of overtime. So, you know, it is an expense for us, but it's a big community event, and our people did an excellent job. And with that, I'm done. Do you have any questions?
Okay. Thanks, Chief.
Thank you. Thank you, Chief. Next up is Administrator. My first item is a Resolution 14087, It's to accept a street lighting petition and set date for the hearing. The petition is for Brookside Plat 5, and the hearing has been set for September 16th at 6 o'clock.
I'll offer resolution 14-087 to accept street lighting petition.
Second. Mr. Crandall?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Genowine?
Yes.
My next resolution is 14088, approval of certification of street lighting districts. This is what we send to the Lucas County Auditor so that the assessments are put on the residents' tax bills for the street lighting.
I'll offer resolution 14-088, approval certification of street lighting districts.
Second.
Mr. Mahoney?
Is that the Brookside plat again? Is that-
No, this is for the certification is Brookside Plat 4, Maple Creek Plat 5, 12 Lakes Plat 7,
Thanks.
and a couple other parcels.
Thank you.
And Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Genowine?
Yes.
Mr. Crandall?
Yes.
Next up is Mr.
Clarification, I thought
Simcoe.
the same thing, Mr. Crandall. You know,
I like to keep track of it.
Yeah.
No, and this is good news. More plats.
Right.
That's good.
Mr. Simcoe?
Yes, we just have our July 14 financial statements, and in a nutshell, expenditures are below the standard percentage for 7 months. That's good. And the departments are doing a very good job, all of them, of keeping within their budgets. And so that's really all I have to say. Everything's going well. And I do have, if there are any questions, I do have a resolution. Transfer appropriations resolution 14-086, and it's due to heavier than usual vehicle repair schedule, and because of several employees on FLMA, overtime has been higher than anticipated, so we have to move some money around within the various departments, and that's what these items are about. So it's resolution 14-086.
I'll move approval of resolution 14086.
second.
And Mr. Crandall?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Genowine?
Yes.
That's all I have.
I would like to thank the departments. I know a couple weeks ago or a month or so ago, I asked for a weekly update. It just so happened one week, I was blindsided with 2 or 3 items people were asking me about, and, you know, news today travels very quickly, and I just felt like I was at a disadvantage, and I really appreciate everyone's efforts to get those in. It's not meant to take too much time, just a quick little, 5-minute email, and I hope it's beneficial to the other trustees. I think when you're out in public, people will come up with the strangest questions or the strangest concerns, and if you don't know about it, it kind of, leaves them wondering, well, what's he doing this time? And I feel a little bit more in tune with what's going on, and I appreciate everyone's efforts.
And I have to admit that I get copied those and I read them, and I learn things too.
Yeah, it's a good idea, Jim.
Yeah.
I think it's a great idea.
So thanks for everybody's efforts in those. Anybody sign in for
No.
non-agenda items?
Nope.
I'd like to just mention that we've got probably half a dozen community leaders getting formed here, first meetings tomorrow night. So the citizens will be taking over the firemen, directing it. Hopefully we have a successful one.
With nothing more, I would like to... Oh, sorry. Oh,
Oh, for the next,
does anybody have a conflict with having the first meeting at September on the 2nd, which is the day after Labor Day? Do we want to move that to the 3rd? Or,
well, and the reason is because a lot of times on big holidays, we do the meeting.
yeah,
Nobody's here to stay, so we're trying to get the meeting organized on the same day. And I noticed that a few people are taking vacation on the 29th, so, I mean, we can do it, but if it's okay with the board, we can do it to Wednesday and help everybody.
Yeah, that's great.
You guys are-
I'm good with it. How about you, John?
Yeah.
yep.
Are you doing, you're just moving the one?
Yeah, just from the second to the
Yep,
third.
that's great.
Do we make a motion to change that, or just put it on a public
Well, let's just
announcement?
do it officially, because that is our regular schedule, so what we'll do is we'll just make a motion to change the regular scheduled meeting from the second to the third.
Same time, right?
Would that be, okay, I'd like to offer a motion to change the first meeting in September from September 2nd at 4 PM to September 3rd at 4 PM.
Second?
Mr. Genowine?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Randall?
Yes.
Okay, so please make note of that. And with that, I would like to offer a motion to adjourn at 6:22.
Second.
Mr. Randall?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Genowine?
Yes.